Right then, let's do possibly the easiest spindle turning there is, where you end up with something good at the end of it. Okay then, French rolling pins are probably the easiest spindle turning that you can do, where you end up with something decent and usable at the end of it, right? They have a few kind of, you wouldn't really call them rules, but there's a few things that they should be, right? The piece of tiger wood I have in here, which is very nice actually, it's going to make a very nice rolling pin. It's 19 inches long and it's nearly 3 inches wide, right? Now, French rolling pins, the classic design, a French rolling pin is 18 inches long and it's between 2 and 3 inches thick, right? So I'll teach you a few tricks to doing this, and the problems people have when they're doing them, especially the new turners. Like, as I said, this series I'm doing is aimed at new guys, right? But as I said, I'll show a few tricks along the way, how to measure it out, that kind of stuff, right? So the first thing I obviously need to do is round this off, right? So I'll just do that and we'll get going. We have a round out, so all my power in here shut down, of course. Now, when you're starting this, try and make sure, as much as you can, that your tool rest is always parallel to this. Right, now, we're rounded off. And now, as I said, a classic French rolling pin is 18 inches long, right? So what I want to do, and this blank is 19 inches long. The reason I left it 19 inches is because I want to be able to take off where the spur drive and the live centre sit, so that the mark of them isn't there, right? So I come in a half an inch from there, right? I come in a half an inch from there, and I end up with 18 inches in the middle. And I need to service this light because it's starting to stick. Oh yes. Right, so there I have 18 inches between the two of them. Now think quarters, right? So what I have, what I want to end up with is 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches, 8 inches, 4 inches. So I have 4 inches there, right? And come in 4 inches from that end. So what I'm going to end up with is 4 inches of like the curvy part and 8 inches of round, so that it's flat. So give myself a cut there. Right. Give myself a mark there. Right. And that's basically how easy marking one of these out is, right? Now all I want to make sure is that when I do put this curve in, that this end is the same as this end. And the simplest way of doing that is to grab a set of calipers, go down to about the width you want it. Remember, you're the turner, it's your choice what you do. So go down to about the width you want, whatever you think is going to be it. Right, I normally go down to about an inch. Grab a parting tool and go in on this side of that line. do the same on the other end. Now the reason I said to go on the inside of that line is just basically to remember which side you went in on. You just really want to remember what side you went in on, because if you go in on, say, if you go in on the outside of the line on this end and the inside of the line on the other end, this isn't going to be even. Now this part you can do with any tool you want, really, right? You can do it with a spindle roughing gouge. I'll go with my preference, which is the continental gouge, because it's the one I like to use. Now basically all I'm going to do is curve it from there to there very gently. Right, now start on the end, because you can bring a curve in easier that way. Right, get rid of this out of your way. So all it's doing is being in your way now. Nice gentle curve. Right. Start on the outside and work backwards, because it makes curves easier to do. Out of my way. Put my line back in. Get rid of a load of that. And just curve it down to the end. Now what I like to do is on the last pass on each end, I just like to take that line just so it's nice and smooth, so that there's no bump there, it's just a curve. Nice clean finish cut on it. Now it's basically the same, do the same on the other end. Now what I want to do here, just to make it nice, is roll this end a little. Just a simple roll like that, both ends. Now, this is where you want to check something. Definitely have to service this. I'm going to service this light as soon as this video is finished. Right, along here, is it straight? Put a straight edge up to it. Okay, that is straight. That is absolutely straight. Right, I should have actually put something in there to make sure that it wasn't straight. Right then, a trick. If you have waves in there, right, I cut that one too straight. Right, a way to make sure that that is completely flat is to get a piece of 80 grit, right, and get a block that is square, that you know is square, right. Wrap the piece of 80 grit around the block, right, and just run it along there. will make sure that the rolling part of this rolling pin, which is there, is perfectly straight. I actually cut mine too straight. I meant to deliberately put a wave in it. I forgot to. Right, now it's just a case of sand it. Right, so I'll do that and I'll be right back. Okay, then we're sanded down to 400. Now we've just got to sort out those ends. Right, narrow parting tool and just cut them straight. Just leaving a little bit you take off of the saw, and yeah, definitely. So I've been stuck doing pens for the last week, and I should have serviced the lathe, and I just didn't get the time to. Alright, now that that's done, now we can talk about finishing this. Right, at the moment this is sanded down to 400. Now then, the whole thing about rolling pins is the grain in the wood. Is it an open grain wood? Is it a closed grain wood? Like Tiger Woods likes some closed grain. But I still want to close those grain as much as I can. I don't put a finish on rolling pins because, number one, it's going to wear off really quick. And number two, even with the food safe stuff, I just don't like the idea of it being in constant rolling contact with food. I don't know why, it's just the thing I have, right? So what I do is I varnish them, right? Basically grab a handful of shavings, spin it up fast, and just rub it with shavings, right? The heat you're creating will not only give it a kind of a sheen, but it will also help seal the grain. Right then, and there we have it. It's a nice sheen, and it is the heat is sealed, has closed all the grain. Now it's just a matter of take it off and sand the two ends. So get this off. I managed to snap that one off. Well, that one didn't. Let me just snap it off. Right. Now it's just a case of sand the two ends, and your French rolling pin is done. Now, as I was saying there, it's just a thing with me. I don't like putting a finish on rolling pins, even though like you could probably use the hand machine stuff because it's certified food safe. It's just a thing that I have. I don't like doing it. If you want to do it, fire away. But do burnish it first to seal those grain, that grain. Now it's just a case of simply sanding the ends. It doesn't take much because you've cut most of it. This is actually a 240 disc I have on. And there we go. And it is that simple. As I said, this is the easiest spindle turning you can do, where you get something at the end of it. French rolling pin, it's more of a practice with your tools thing, and how to measure in your head than anything else. So if you enjoyed that one or got anything out of it, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like on the video, and I'll see you in the next one.